Welcome to the Loveland Report and Lone Ranger Show. I am Cleve, Loveland, Central Florida's best real estate planner. Alongside Bruce Woodburn, the Lone Ranger, we're going to give you real estate news. We're going to give you mortgage news. We're going to let you know what's going on in this market. Are we a seller's market? Are we a buyer's market? Where are the rates at? We'll talk about all those things today on the show. Thanks for joining us. I want to dig into a couple things, Bruce. I've got buyers have options. Right now is the time to buy. Calling the bottom of the market. I'm going to call a 6-month window. So we sped up over the past month. Rates are coming down. And when is the right time to downsize? I want to talk about that. And then I want to talk about these guaranteed buyouts you hear all the time on the radio. And how those turn into nightmare scenarios.
Well, you should have listened to my show. I interviewed somebody that hired one of those real estate companies, and you can see what her experience was. And by God, I'll tell you one thing. You get what you pay for.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yep.
It's pretty simple. And we all deviate from that from time to time. We all get caught up in, these ads that we hear and they sound so good. And you don't need to put your house on the market and we'll pay for it in cash in 2 weeks. And there's no showings. And by God, I'll tell you what, go ahead, give it a shot and see how you like it. One of my employees did it and they thought it was working out really well until 2 days prior to the closing, and they dropped their offer price by 10 grand.
Yep.
And she was stuck. She ended up backing out of the deal and ended up selling it and got 10 grand more than what they were going to buy it for before they reduced
they're
their
not
10 grand.
They're not in business to make you money. They're in business to make themselves money, and they're just taking your equity and flipping it around and doing it themselves and selling it if they can do it right. But it is a literal cluster when these guys get involved. So we'll go into that. What happened with the rates last week when the Fed dropped a quarter point? So did interest rates go up a little bit? What happened?
So, the market was expecting about a 0.5 point reduction. We got a quarter point. Some of the market, they believed that that's what we were going to get. But I think generally speaking, the market expected a 0.5 point. We got a quarter point. Well, the market had already built in a 0.5 point. So remember, I was telling everybody that rates could get worse after a Fed cut, but nobody wants to hear that. They think I'm a nut when I say that.
Yeah, they don't understand the correlation.
They don't understand it. So here's the reality. We have dropped by 28 basis points on the bond market since the Fed cut. 28 basis points. Now, we got 50 basis points before they Fed cut it.
Yeah.
Now we lost 20. So we're still up about 20, 25
The bond
basis.
market's gotten some good news, and the bond market is really what drives mortgage
rates.
Yes,
but the bond market didn't do as well after the Fed cut. It did right away, and then it started to lose ground.
Yep.
So we're down 28 basis points. That's $280 per $100,000.
Yep.
That's what that equates to.
Yep.
So did it get worse? A little bit. Did it plummet? No. Did it skyrocket? No. It's relatively flat, but we did not benefit more than we already had 2 weeks prior to the Fed cut. How about that? We're about there where we were then.
And in general, I mean, depending on what type of loan somebody needs, depending on where
Average
their
30-year fixed rate, according to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, sits around 6.3% right now.
But the important thing is they talk to you.
100%.
Get their application uploaded, and we bring you home now.
I'm doing VA refis, FHA streamline refis. By the way, you guys are out there listening to you, you really should call me if you have an FHA or VA loan, because you're going to get hosed by the people that you think are out to help you, the USAAs and the Veterans United, or even your own servicer. Be very, very careful. Give me a call. Let's look at it. I'll tell you what the real rates look like, and we'll get you fixed up. But I'm locking VA rates in the mid-5s right now.
That's great.
So if you got an IRRRL, you don't have to qualify. I don't even need a credit report. If you have an FHA loan and we're just doing a streamline, you don't need a credit report. You just have to have your last 6 payments.
Streamline FHAs?
Absolutely.
I didn't know that.
As long as you have made your last 6 payments on time, there's no other credit required.
Great. Well,
now,
this is what's important.
On an FHA is a little different than a VA. I can easily do a streamline, and the veteran has no outlay out of pocket whatsoever. On an FHA, there's 2 ways to do it. You can do it with an appraisal, or you can do it without an appraisal.
Okay.
Well, some people, if they just bought last year, you don't want to do a new appraisal because you probably don't have the equity. So I can still equal the last the original loan balance. I can get up to that amount, but it might require the FHA buyer to come to the table with one payment, maybe two payments. But if it drops your payment by $250 a month, $300 a
made that
month,
up.
don't be silly.
Well, that's why
Do
people,
it now.
That's why people need to call you and get on your VIP list.
Here's my phone number, 407-250-9144. You know anyone that's got an FHA or VA loan, call me right away, 407-250-9144, or get them over to my website at webringyouhome.com. I will analyze what they have, and I'll tell them whether the right time to do it is now or not.
All
And
right.
if it's not the right time, we'll wait.
And I want to say, I say this is the bottom of the market over the next couple months. Inventory has been the same, Bruce, for the past 6 months. It's been about the same inventory, about a 5-month supply. I'm seeing buyers getting, now that doesn't mean that homes are selling for 10% off list price. They're selling for 2 or 3 or 4% off list price, or full price with some cost for the buyer. You can't be that picky when you're a seller, but you got to have a good realtor advising you to make sure you're not looking a gift horse in the mouth when you get a good offer. So also, one thing that's happened, the number of new contracts for the first time in a year, the number of new contracts for August was more than August of 24. Barely, but it was more.
Yep.
And the number of total homes under contract was higher. We've been running about 10 to 12% behind 2024. So now the rates are down about to what they were. They're lower than they were in the last half of
last
24.
Year. Yep.
And so this is where we got a better economy. We don't have a Biden hangover. Hopefully we're getting through the Bidenomics hangover, and we got Trumponomics kicking in strong. And so I see our inventory dropping over the next couple months.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because I was actually looking at some numbers that there's 35.2% more sellers than there are buyers.
Yes.
That means there's 3 people want to sell and only 1 people willing to buy it.
And you got to watch traffic. And then I'd say 50% of those sellers are not in the right ballpark on their pricing, and they're not watching the competition. And let's say they should be asking $699, but they're asking $775.
Right.
And that's not really a listing. That's a little headache for the seller, and somebody, a little nagging feeling that, when am I going to sell? When am I going to sell? And they get disenchanted with the process, which leads to them dropping off the market. If you want to know what your real value is, give me a call.
Yeah.
But when I list a house, Bruce, I check in with my sellers every 2 or 3 weeks. We sit down and say, okay, you didn't sell, but who did? I guarantee you there's a house. Our market is not sitting still. This is still a decent year for real estate sales, one of the slowest in 15, but homes are still moving. There's the 5 Ds. There's the diamonds, diapers.
That's right.
Downsize, divorce, and death. So we got all these things still happening no matter what. Those are still happening. And that's it affects a lot of home sales. So, and there's still people doing well, moving up, and getting the house of their dreams. But now's the time, because I heard your commercial the other day, Bruce. I love your new commercial. Marry the house, date the rate. So that's what you're doing. But prices are still rising. And over the past couple of years, even with major inflation, Central Florida is attractive. It's attractive to the rest of Florida. It's attractive to parts of the country, people moving here. I was just down in South Florida. All the builder signs in Central Florida say homes from the 300s.
Yes.
They got one model at $399.
Right.
Down in South Florida, those are homes from $599.
Right. And they have one model at $599.
And the rest, and the neighborhoods say from $500 to $1.5 million. Those people move here all the time because they just say, wow, I can cash in down there, sell my house I've been in for 10 years and move to Central Florida and lower my cost of living. And have a great house and give my financial planner $500,000. So those things happen all the time. Or they get tired of getting bombarded by hurricanes and $5,000 a year on their little starter home for insurance because the hurricane premiums are so high. So if you need help, call me, 407-352-8118. I will help you work out your plan, your real estate plan for your family.
Yeah,
right?
Or call the Loan Arranger. Get your application started to purchase or refi. Listen, if you're looking to buy a home, let's just face it. We just got through telling you there's 35.2% more sellers than buyers. So if you're looking to buy a home, that's your signal. What are you waiting for? Are you waiting for somebody to come and knock on your door with a check? Ed McMahon is not going to show up at your door with a check. I'm telling you, this is your sign. You can get a deal right now, and interest rates have dropped. You can get a good rate. Call me now. I will help you. I promise you will get a great deal, and I'll help you through the process. Go to webringyouhome.com and get your application started now. We'll start with a soft credit pull. We'll analyze your income. I'll look at your documents. We'll get you pre-approved, and We can get Cleve out there and his buyer's agents to go find you a house. That's
Well,
how
that's
it works.
and that's the thing too. I have some sellers, Bruce, and the sellers have selective memory. Sometimes, like I do as a husband, my wife
Everybody
tells
has
me,
selective memory.
and they remember the multiple offers and cars lighting up around the corner when people had multiple offers on their house. They sold one in 2021 and bought this one, and they remember that. Right now, that's not the selling experience, but it is the buying experience is a little more pleasant. You can be selective, and you can sit back. Now, this is assuming let's say you're going to buy without selling. Now, if your house is under contract and you're going to close in 45 days, you need to get a house under contract.
Yes.
You can't be too picky. But if you've got a lease back, like I've negotiated for some sellers, they get a month to shop after closing. That helps. But a seller gets an offer, and this is the other part that's hard, Bruce. We'll make a solid offer on a house based on the comps, and I'll get a listing agent doesn't know how to look at the comps. And they don't know how to tell the seller this is a great offer.
You mean they don't know how to look at the comps?
They don't know how to do a market analysis.
Well, aren't they realtors?
Well, let's say the house is, well, they're not everybody's training is alike, but let's say the house has been sitting at 60 days at the same price. The neighbors are selling for 700. They're listed for 725. And I give them a great offer at 710 with 2 points for closing costs. That's a decent offer on the activity they're getting.
I agree.
But they don't know how to explain, okay, your seller's getting 695. We need some closing costs because we're trying to avoid some PMI. And they don't have a clue what I'm talking about. And it's kind of the Wild West. So that kind of handicaps that seller. And
a seller selling a house for 500 versus say 475.
Yep.
Okay. If I was the buyer, rather than going, I'll give you 475 for the house, I'm going to say, I'll give you 500, but I want 25 grand in closing costs. That's how I would negotiate that.
The trouble is the listing agent on that sometimes, because you remember we got 3/4
They're only afraid of it if the house won't appraise. Then why did they market it that price?
But the agent sometimes can't explain to that seller that, hey, this is a 475 offer. And they don't know how to do the math on that and say, hey, you've been sitting at the same price for 60 days. We need to be a little more flexible. You're getting one person a week looking at it, not 5. And that's that experience is not out there. So 70% of the realtors in the country last year did not even write an offer. And then the average for most realtors is 3 to 4, including those zeros.
It's probably just as bad for the mortgage business too.
Just about.
We've been very fortunate that we've done very well in this market.
And you guys have the products. I mean, you can guide somebody to the right one. You can give them the right mortgage to get. I mean, I keep hearing about your products. I'm like, wait a minute, you can do that. You talked to one of my friends about construction perms the other day, and he was amazed. He's been building homes in Claremont for 50 years. And he still does some specs as he's winding down. And he was just talking. I said, the products are there. I said, this is Bruce is your man on there. So
yeah, nice guy too. I liked him a lot. So look, we got a lot of things happening right now. Interest rates have come down. In the past, I've told everybody to hold off on refinancing and just get on my VIP rate watch list. So now, if you did not get on my VIP rate watch list, there's a good chance that you got suckered by your current lender or another lender that's soliciting your business, telling they can save you money. Of course they can. I can too. Everyone can. But is it the right time? So now is the time. I'm taking you off the list, and we're actually putting an application together and looking at the numbers. I've done a lot of refinances just in the last 2 weeks. But some folks, they're just not there yet. Like if you're in the 7s, you're there yet. I can get you down into the 5s or low 6s. If you're at 6.875, even if I could get you a 5.99, I don't know if it's the right time to do that. But other lenders are going to tell you, do it. I can save you money. I can save you money. But then you're going to be in the same situation as Linda that jumped the gun and went with another lender and refinanced her house. And now she's coming back going, now can I do it? And I'm like, no,
you don't want to get churned.
Well, I can't meet the net tangible benefit.
Yep.
So there is a parameters that lenders have to fit within. Now they can manipulate those. Don't kid yourself. But there are parameters called net tangible benefit. And we're running out of time. We have got to be able to meet that net tangible benefit. I'll be back in 5 minutes with more of the Loveland Report and the Lone Ranger Show. Cleve Loveland, the voice of real estate here in Orlando. 407-250-9144. That's my number. And Cleve is at 407-352-8118.